Daliang was a young man who was very good at studying. The situation appeared, but one day the system changed his life, and he discovered he was with strangers. This is today's legendary story. If excited, like, subscribe, and let's go. Our story starts socially. He calls Daliang to continue studying. He sees him as a failure. And he calls out to the student Daliang, asking him to continue his studies. And that's because he saw him as a complete failure. The calamity. But Liang was trying to explain to him the reasons for his decline in level, but Alsoi still refused his words. That's why Daliang left feeling very upset, but he ran into a friend of his. We find out that her name is Gina, and then she asked him about the scar on his face, but he tells her that it's nothing at all. So Gina gives him some advice, lessons of the last 100 days, and she asked him to remember her. But Daliang takes it to heart and then says to her, "Are you feeling sorry for me or what?" And he walks away. After a while, Liang will be in the class and everyone will be teasing him, and at night he will be telling him that he is a failing student at that time. Yanja tried to escape reality by sleeping. Suddenly a system screen appeared. As it started, Daliang felt like a genius and exclaimed, "I've been transformed, my friends." His classmate retorted, "Transformed? Who are you kidding? You're still you." Daliang felt like Newton. His classmate repeated, "Transformed? Who are you kidding? You're still you." He spent 3 classes sleeping. Then a teacher entered and Daliang asked for a test to prove himself. "You have been sleeping for 3 sessions," and he kept laughing at you. At that moment, Benlian, a teacher, entered the classroom and Yanji asked her to conduct an exam between him and Lena. Daliang felt like he was entering a match that he was definitely going to win, and he said, "Let's give it a try, and the winner will make the loser lick his shoes in front of everyone." The school was against this subject, though. Daliang said to her, "It's a fair competition, teacher, nothing more," and that made the teacher agree. Then the exam starts, and its duration was 40 minutes, and the young man had 37 minutes left. They didn't finish yet, but suddenly the system. Yang said the power of speed, and Yang actually finished the exam on time, and the school corrected the exam for what he had brought. 93% pleases him, and he says, "Daliang, get ready to lick my shoes because you're going to lose." He didn't mention the champion scored 99%. Daliang says, "Let's call this a comeback after being absent for so long." Daliang said, "Impossible. You must have cheated." He wanted to hit him, but the teacher walked in. She said, "How could I cheat in front of you?" But everyone didn't believe the champion. Daliang took his stuff and left. His friend said, "Get ready to lick my shoes." Before he returned, Daliang was losing it. She says, "How can I cheat in front of us?" But everyone didn't believe the champion. Daliang takes his stuff and leaves. His friend says, "Get ready to lick my shoes." Before I go to the bathroom and come back, and of course I don't need to tell you that Lena was about to lose it, while Daliang was completely relaxed. He was happy due to his improvement. But at that moment, for me, Zombie tells him, "Don't get too full of yourself. Remember, you're still at the first level and people might envy you. In the education system, you have to do a lot of tasks for your level to improve, and if you don't complete these tasks, your level will stay the same. On the contrary, in the eyes of the system, you'll be seen as a worthless person." Stopping felt crazy. He joined the competition. And with that, he says, "Time is passing, and I need to make good use of it." And he decided to join this competition. The school, if he wins, will qualify for Sangha University, in addition to $100,000. He could win, but the system offers 5 educational credits if he cancels. Frustrated, he said the company is in trouble and felt lost at night. He went to the lab, asked teacher Shanga to enter the competition. Despite laughter, the teacher gave him a chance. He asked the teacher Shanga to bring the injured person in, so Blake helped her. Everyone was talking about him, but the teacher decided to give him a chance. So the teacher asked him to solve the problem on the board. And by the way, the other students said it was famous and they couldn't solve it. As soon as Lianga got the exam paper, he was solving it like crazy. And the problem was that he finished the problem in 5 minutes, with a quarter of an hour left. When the teacher saw Lianga's solution, he respected him and asked him to explain his method. Lianga quickly solved the problem on the board, impressing everyone. Afterward, Lianga succeeded in solving the problem. He started solving the problem on the board, and he was really fast, honestly. Everyone was amazed. Even the other students couldn't believe what they were seeing. After that, Lianga succeeded. He solved the problem, and they informed the teacher that his solution was 100% correct and that he had submitted the competition. To further improve his level, he offered the teacher to explain it to him individually for 3 weeks. And of course, I don't need to tell you that Lin would have died without him. He took his phone and sent a message to a certain person. After the barbecue, the social worker entered. He had Lianga removed for cheating. The teacher's explanation was ignored by the social worker. Lianga sought a plan from the system and felt reassured. He thought of his supportive parents. At that moment, Lianga asks the system to give him a plan to get out of the mess he's in, and suddenly he feels like he's back on solid ground. He was thinking about his parents who love him and always strive to make him the best person in the world. But unfortunately, I couldn't escape them, and the story ended with them imprisoning me. But unlike you, everyone sympathized with him and repeated. The social worker told him to stop complaining about the exam. If he succeeds, he will lead the students. Lianga tells them to leave him alone. "I'm going to pass anyway," he says. The principal and social worker watch Lianga. When told the exam is 3 hours, Lianga responds, "3 hours? That's just 3 minutes." I'm definitely going to pass. And when the exam time comes, the school principal and the social worker are watching Liang closely. When they told him that the exam duration is 3 hours, Liang said, 3 hours? That's just 3 minutes. They were really nice, and he grabbed the paper and started to scribble. The problem was that our hero managed to finish the exam, and when the principal corrected the paper, he discovered that the kid, he was really a victim. And of course, I don't need to tell you that the social worker was going crazy because the kid definitely had something big up his sleeve to get himself out of the problem. He said that Lin was the one who complained and that he should wear it. He responded to them by saying that he was very upset and told them to choke him. If someone sleeps only once every few months, they might feel guilty. So, they let Liang use the system's technique and he acted small. Liang explains the subject he was tested on during a time when the principal respects him. Liang decides to find a solution and started talking to the system, which said, since this is your first request, I'll give you a withdrawal. He also understood us and did not look like this. He had an incident in front of him that made everyone laugh at him, and thus our hero had completed his mission and served the reward. Liang was happy with his rewards. At home, his family discussed his weight issue and the need for expensive supplements. His father couldn't afford them despite working 2 jobs. Liang sought help and the system offered a withdrawal. The next day, Liang was in the market and heard Inspector Crumbo accuse the principal of embezzling 300,000 yuan. The principal implicated Liang, saying he got only $50. The manager doubted Liang, but Liang proved the evidence fake, angering the manager. The principal tried to flee but was caught for selling fakes. Liang reported all products as fake, shocking the principal when asked why he was there. Liang pulled the lever, stopping at the sweater's settings. In the market, Liang hears shouting. Inspector Crumbo accuses the principal of embezzling 300,000 yuan. Liang proved the shop manager wrong by showing counterfeit evidence. As the principal tried to flee, local security reported him for selling counterfeits. Liang was searching for spiritual stones and found some. He identified a stone, bought it for 1,000 yuan, and discovered a spiritual stone inside. He asked to sell it for 60,000 yuan, and an offer of 65,000 yuan came. This means it's counterfeit, and something like this made the principal very angry. He called his men, and they wanted to teach the school principal a lesson. When he tried to escape from them, the local security confronted him, and they reported him for selling counterfeit products. But Liang wanted to add his touch to the situation, so he said, I want to report that all the products here are also counterfeit. I think that's a valid point. The important thing is that the principal was very shocked when they asked about Liang's reason for being in the market. Liang learns he's searching for spiritual stones and finds a group of them. Using a system technique, he identifies and selects one, asking the seller to break it open, revealing a stone worth 1,000 yuan. The seller is shocked and Liang asks to sell it for 60,000 yuan. But a rich young man named Linja offers 700,000 yuan. Liang agrees and gives his number for the deal. That night, Liang's father, curious about the fortune, confronts him. Liang assures him he has reasons and can achieve more. His father, about to hit him, demands to know the source of the wealth. Of course, I don't need to tell you that Liang agreed and even gave him his number, but that was just for the deal, nothing else. That same night, we see Liang sitting in front of his father, who is dying to know where his son got this fortune from. Liang tells him, I have a reason for this, and I can do more than this too. That night, his father raised his stick and said, You son of a dog, where did you get this fortune from? He was about to hit him. But the mother went out and told him that this boy is very respectful and that nothing inappropriate would come from him. She was asking him to focus more on his studies and also to concentrate on spiritual books, which might bring him $1 million next time or something. They would wrap up the day with a happy ending, and the next morning we see the boy standing in front of the exam results board, and we find out that Liang has come first in his class. The schoolboys were picking on Liang, and one threw his book, challenging him to speak up instead of gossiping. As Liang walked away, a social worker appeared, expressing frustration and suspecting him of cheating. Liang protested the injustice, and the social worker offered a retake in front of the school. If Liang succeeded, he feared rumors and the social worker's reaction. Surprisingly, the social worker agreed, and Liang took the exam, recording it for others. He finished quickly, and when the paper was corrected, he passed with a good grade. As he tried to leave, the principal stopped him, saying a punishment awaited. But if he really succeeded, he wouldn't want to hear anything, rumors being spread about him, or having the specialist dance in front of the students for the second time. The social worker agreed, and Liang was in the exam room. The live exam began, and he finished quickly. As he tried to leave, the principal stopped him. You have a punishment waiting. All of this was recorded, embarrassing you. At the ceremony, Liang was first in all subjects. The social worker's dance idea was a hit. Liang counted his coins, and the system offered him to pay 40 coins for biology. He paid for the knowledge. Mr. Chang confirmed his answers were correct. Days pass, and the ceremony for students who passed the exam arrives. Liang was first in all subjects. The social worker prepared a dance performance. Liang counts coins. The system offers 40 coins for biology, and he pays. He aced all exams. Mr. Chang confirmed his answers were correct and offered him the regional key. Liang agreed. He explained. Liang's friend solved the problem. Honestly, it was nice elsewhere. The key point is the system offered him 40 coins for biology knowledge, and he didn't hesitate to pay. At school, he aced all exams. Mr. Chang confirmed his perfect answers and offered him the regional key, which Liang accepted, earning him 10 coins from the system. The next day, with no school, he taught kids who were competitive. Liang's friend solved the problem quickly, impressing Mr. Chang with Liang's dual methods. Mr. Chang praised Liang as an exceptional student. Liang was briefly interrupted, but when Liang is pushed out of his comfort zone to collect the regional key and help him, Liang agreed. The system was pleased and rewarded him. The next morning, he taught kids who were competitive. Liang's friend solved the problem quickly, impressing Mr. Chang with Liang's dual methods. The strange thing was that as soon as he looked at Liang's solution, he realized that Liang was using two methods. To make things easier for him, Liang took out his book and started explaining it to him. Mr. Chang was very pleased with him and told Chang that he had a student he wouldn't find anywhere else. But at that moment, someone entered, and Liang was obviously pushed out of his comfort zone. He invites him to take the exam together, but the principal appears, urging silence and stating the exam will decide their fate. Confident in Wang, Liang feels nervous. As they start, Wang focuses, while Liang is distracted. Liang sleeps soundly, hoping for success. They finish and receive their papers. To ensure fairness, the principal checks Liang's paper, while Shu grades Wang's. Wang scores 285 points and is happy, but Liang scores 286, even after a deduction, making him the winner. The principal comforts Wang, advising persistence until the big exam. Liang is thrilled with his grades. Liang receives a call from Mr. Linga about an auction and agrees to bring spiritual stones. The next day, while studying, a girl asks Liang to explain physics. The class is jealous, but she defends him, asking them to leave him alone. So, he was already winning, and to comfort Wang, the principal tells him that winning once doesn't mean much. He needs to push himself until the big exam comes. But Liang was genuinely happy and excited about the grades he received. At that moment, Liang gets a call from Mr. Linga, and he learns that there's an auction tomorrow at sunset. He wants him to get the spiritual stones, and Liang agreed. The next day, Liang is studying when a girl asks him to explain physics. Other classmates are upset and jealous, wanting to beat him up. She intervenes, asking them to leave him alone. She stands up for Liang. Ying waits for Liang and greets him. Rich Jui isn't convinced, wanting something different, but Brother Yun convinces Jui to buy the vase at the auction starting at 500,000 yuan. Liang munches chips. When he asks the system about the vase, it tells him to buy it for 0 yuan. Ying welcomes Liang warmly. Rich Jui wants something different. Brother Yun sees a smooth path. The vase auction starts at 500,000 yuan. Brother Yun convinces Jui to buy it. Liang, in a parallel world, munches chips, unfocused. The system suggests buying the vase for 0 yuan. If Liang does that, he gets 10 coins. Liang thinks the system is crazy, suggesting a vase worth 500,000 yuan for 0. He gets a brilliant idea. Brother Yun tells Linga to disregard the vase, but Liang disagrees. He says, "You're the one who wants to follow that guy. I have nothing to do with it. I don't care if you lose all your money." Linga hands Liang the remote. Liang raises his pen, and when asked how much he'll pay, he replies, 0 yuan. Everyone is surprised, and Shu calms them to prevent laughter. Liang confidently says, "You have nothing to do with it. Let us handle it." Liang will get 10 coins if he does that. He thought the system was crazy, suggesting a vase worth 500,000 yuan for 0 yuan. Then, he had an idea. Brother Yun got distracted and asked Linga to ignore the vase, but Liang disagreed. He said, "You're following that guy. I have nothing to..." And with what he said, "You're the one who wants to follow that guy. I have nothing to do with it. I don't care if you lose all your money." So, Linga hands Liang the remote and asks him to handle it himself. At that moment, Liang raises his pen, and when the auctioneer asks him how much he's willing to pay, he replies, 0 yuan. Everyone was surprised by this kid, and they were looking at him in disbelief, to the point that Shu was calming people down so they wouldn't laugh at him. But Liang, with his confidence, said, "You have nothing to do with it. Let us handle it." He wants everyone to hate this item. Linji agrees to point it out and breaks it with a hammer. When asked why, he says it contains a spiritual stone, and selling it would be disastrous. Linji gives him a small spiritual stone to help. Our hero is happy and thanks Linji, thinking the item is valuable. Meanwhile, the rival brother takes... Our hero is thrilled with the stone and thanks Linji for the gift, believing it holds great value. Meanwhile, the rival brother, Huang-san, takes a taxi and learns the driver knows him. Huang is on a mission to find a 17-year-old boy with a dragon mark, a family symbol. He insists on secrecy. The boy, Liang, has the mark but dismisses its significance. His family is shocked when he asks about it, claiming it's normal. They change the topic to his studies. Liang excels academically but is reminded of upcoming exams. That night, Liang studies but is distracted by thoughts of the mark, feeling it might be important. He experiences an electric shock, questioning its seriousness. The next morning, Liang is energetic and confident for his exam, despite his rival's warnings. The exam starts, and Liang receives a system message. They change the subject to his studies, and Liang says he's doing well, eating like a buffalo. Liang studies but is distracted by the mark on his back. He doubts his family is real but thinks the mark might be significant. Suddenly, he feels an electric shock and wonders if it's serious. He throws a stone and tells himself to study. "You buffalo!" The next morning, Liang heads to school, full of energy. The exam starts. Suddenly he feels an electric shock and wonders if it's a game or serious. He throws a stone and tells him to study. You buffalo. He studies hard. The next morning, Liang heads to school full of energy. He feels confident about being the top student, but his rival warns him to watch out, Captain. The exam begins, and Liang receives a message to submit the exam an hour early and be first in class to win 10 points. Liang wonders how to finish the exam in an hour. He submits it exactly an hour early. I remember doing the same, but I was more careful with timing. Liang's mission is now 50% complete, and he looks confident. They were told to take the exam an hour early. Not only does he need to be first in his class to win 10 educational points, but Liang was also stressed about finishing a tough exam in an hour. He submitted it exactly on time, just like I did in my exams, though I was more cautious. Liang's mission is now halfway done. Later, he waits confidently for the results. Suddenly, the school counselor accuses him again, but Liang calmly says, "Let's wait for the results before discussing this." His rival brother, however, remains disruptive. Then, the principal announces that Liang is first, leaving everyone shocked. Liang was eager to see his rival's reaction, waiting to kill our exam, and suddenly he finds the school specialist. He was facing the same accusation he's been dealing with since the beginning of the video, but Liang calmly tells him, "I'm really tired of you. Let's wait for the exam results and then we can talk about this." However, the rival brother wouldn't stay quiet and was acting like a devil. At that moment, the school principal walks in holding the exam results, shocking everyone by announcing that the first place goes to Liang. Liang was eager to make the rival brother dance with joy. You're not right. I mean, the system separates him and assigns him the task, giving him 10 coins. After that, he was offered a choice between two things: to give up on knowledge and live his life, or to give up the scholarship he was getting from the university. Of course, Liang loves tough challenges and chooses to give up the scholarship. The strange thing is that the system supported him, and he talked to himself. The important thing is that he finds a manager who informs Lena that she is in 10th place and that Gina came in second. But Lena goes in and asks the manager to give a reward for second place, and he tells her that he can't watch. Now, Plaby advises, "Son, take it easy. I'll always challenge you." Liang doesn't respond. Others urge reconsideration, but Liang insists, "I'm sure. I want to continue my education and enter this university on my own. Enough. Your effort matters." The next day, Liang sits with the girls. Suddenly, Shangji appears saying, "Hey son, get your education and challenge yourself." As the girls leave, Shangji tells Liang, "Let them go. I'm okay." But suddenly, Shangji interrupts and tells him, "Hey son, just focus on your education and challenge yourself in the race." When the girls try to leave, Shangji calmly tells Liang, "Let them go, girls. I'm okay with it." Right away, the system assigns a new task to Liang, asking him to win this race. Days go by, and Liang wants to try running before the race to gauge his performance. Unfortunately, his leg gets twisted, and at that moment, Liang loses control in that situation. But at the same time, a knife is thrown at Liang. The attacker, with a hidden identity, was about to confront our hero. Liang dodged attacks until guard Huang struck and pinned the attacker. Our hero tries to chase the young man, but Huang advises letting it go, saying he's just a poor kid. They learn his real parents are searching for him, and he comes from a significant lineage. Huang respects Liang, and Blaibi suggests he return to his clan after the exam. Liang dismisses this, telling Blaibi not to follow him. Huang mentions the mark on Liang's back indicates complex energy, urging him to return to the clan for understanding. Liang has a large inheritance and special knowledge related to the clan, but he's uninterested, focused on his family. Blaibi says, "Goodbye, you bold one," and leaves. That night, Liang struggles with the system, seeking mercy for information to win the competition, but the system demands 4. And he needs to return to the clan to see his position there. Not to mention that he has a very large inheritance and some special knowledge related to the clan. But Liang, as usual, is not interested. All he can think about is his family back home. That's why Blaibi says, "Goodbye, you bald one," and leaves. That same night, we see Liang struggling with the system, trying to get it to show him some mercy with a few pieces of information that would help him win the competition. But the system doesn't like anything for free and asks him for 4 coins. Coins. So our hero gets angry and says, "What the heck, I only have 45 coins. But the pilgrimage is over, my friend." Our hero Petar pays the 40 coins. Of course, it was a physical education class, but there was some commotion in the room, so don't worry about that. The next morning, we see our hero in class as usual, and he was really tired from all the studying. He didn't even notice the teacher who walked in, but then he spots a very stylish young man entering. His name is Woody, and Woody knew his way from the moment he entered. And we always find him going to Liang, and a committee from the general side of Tonga. And this is the name of the organization. Back to topic. After night class, the girls gathered around our hero, and they wanted him to explain things to them. Anyway, let's get back to our topic. And after the class at night, we find the girls gathering around Liang. They asked him to explain, but Woody gave them a little warning. "Hey girls," and he asked them to behave politely. At that time, Liang was very relieved, because no one will bother him from today. But suddenly, he confronts his hero and tells him not to stop kissing his arm and explain to them. Woody warns Liang to toughen up and punches him. Liang is happy after the scuffle. Woody, Liang's trainer, takes him to the playground and lets a dog loose on him to keep him going. After 2 hours, Liang is exhausted. but improved. Woody advises him to stick to the training plan because Chang is strong. Liang feels ordinary, not improving. On competition day, everyone bets on Chang, but Woody supports Liang. Chang leads, but Liang sprints in the last 200 meters to win. The girls are thrilled for Liang. They didn't know Woody's role in Chang's aggression, but Liang is happy with his achievement. Captain Shunga invites him to Sunja University, but Liang declines, focusing on exams and other goals. He aims for the world's biggest university, but Shunga still wants his contact. The first place is winning the competition. Of course, I don't need to tell you that the girls were very happy for the Yanga. They didn't know that Woody was the reason Chang wanted to hit Liang, but Liang kept his cool and was very happy with the achievement he made. Even Captain Shunga offered him to come to the sports training college at Sunja University, but Liang declined and told them that he had exams he needed to pass and that he was focused on other things he wanted to do. His main goal was to get into the biggest university in the world, but Shunga still wanted his phone number, just in case he changed his mind. He might change his mind, and of course, I don't need to tell you that all the guys were jealous of Liang. But at that moment, the system informs him that there is a new mission he has to undertake. What could this mission be? We'll find out more in the next part. But for now, I want everyone to share their story here, engage with the channel, and like the video so we know who loves the story. If you reach 1,000 likes on the first day, I promise the next video will follow right after. So, see you in the next video, and don't forget to send blessings upon the Prophet and pray for your oppressed brothers. Thank God for your brothers, your oppressed brothers. Thank God your brothers are safe and sound. But until the end of the video, may God support our oppressed sisters. And I'll see you in the next video. But if you want more content, you can check out this video or this video. And this is our new channel. You have to check it out because soon we will be uploading a really cool story there. So, see you in the next video. Peace.